Let's be completely honest for a second. You're standing across the room, you see a girl you think is attractive and your brain immediately enters fight or flight mode. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and a million worst case scenarios flash through your head. What if she laughs at me? What if I stutter? What if she leaves me on red? What if everyone looks at me like I'm a creep? So, what do? You do what most guys our age do. You pull out your phone, fake a text, stare at a black screen and walk away. You tell yourself you'll do it the next time, but next time never comes. Our generation is facing a silent crisis. We can text, we can slide into DMs and we can comment on stories. But the moment we have to look a girl in the eyes and hold a real unfiltered conversation, we freeze. We've become so hyper dependent on digital filters that real life feels terrifyingly high stakes. But I promise you, talking to girls is not a superpower you're born with, it's just a skill. And if you feel awkward right now, that is completely fine. Today we're going to break down the exact mindset shift you need to make to stop freezing, stop overthinking, and start talking to girls like a normal human being. Let's start with the biggest mistake that awkward guys make. The second you see a girl you find attractive, your brain automatically plays a trick on you. You put her on a pedestal, you look at her Instagram, her clothes, her friend, and you construct this narrative that she is a perfect, flawless being who is completely out of your league. You treat her like she's a celebrity, and you treat yourself like a fan who is begging for an autograph. And because you've made her so high status in your mind, every sentence that comes out of your mouth feels like a high-risk test you're about to fail. But here is a reality check your ego needs to hear. She is just a human being. She wakes up with messy hair. She has insecure days where she hates her outfit. She stresses about her grades. She has awkward family arguments and she worries about what people think of her just as much as you do. She's not a prize to be won and she's not a boss fight at the end of a video game. When you stop putting girls on a pedestal, the pressure evaporates. You're not trying to audition for approval anymore. You're just two teenagers having a chat. Treat her with the exact same casual respect you'd give to a guy you're meeting at a sports club or a new classmate. The second biggest mistake guys make when they're nervous is falling into what I call the interview trap. You finally get the courage to walk up to her or you're sitting next to her in class, and because you're terrified of silence, you start firing questions like an FBI interrogator. Where do you live? What subjects do you take? Do you have any siblings? She answers, you nod. There's an awkward pause, and then you fire the next question. It feels like a chore. It's boring for her, and it's exhausting for you. Good conversation isn't about trading data, it's about trading emotions. Instead of asking 50 superficial questions, ask one question and actually listen to the answer. If she says she's studying biology, don't just say, oh cool, and ask about her favorite color. Say, biology? Damn, rather you than me. I can barely handle basic math. What made you pick that? Now you've moved from a boring fact to her reasons and her personality. You're giving her room to talk about herself. The secret to being a great conversationalist isn't having a list of perfect charismatic lines. It's just having the genuine curiosity to listen to what the other person is saying and bouncing off of it. Here's a secret that changed everything for me when I was 18. Most guys think that girls are looking for this hyper smooth Hollywood style charisma. They think they need to act like an alpha male who never stumbles over his words and always has the perfect comeback. But in the real world, that fake, overconfident persona looks incredibly corny. It looks like you're trying too hard. Girls have a very high intuition for authenticity. They can tell when a guy is playing a character, and ironically, if you try to hide your nervousness, you actually make the interaction feel weirder because you look tense and robotic. So what do you do if you're feeling awkward? You lean into it. If you walk up to a girl and your heart is beating fast, you can literally just smile and say, hey look, I'm not going to lie, I was actually pretty nervous to come talk to you, but I thought you looked so cool, I wanted to say hi. Think about how powerful that is. You've completely disarmed the situation. You've shown massive confidence by being vulnerable enough to admit you're nervous. You've paid her a genuine compliment without being creepy, and you've set the baseline expectation that you're just a human being making an effort. The moment you accept that it's okay to be a little awkward, the fear of looking awkward loses all its power over you. The final piece of the puzzle is changing your definition of success. Right now, if you talk to a girl and she doesn't give you her number, or if the conversation fizzles out after 2 minutes, you view that as a massive, humiliating defeat. You go home and you feel like a loser. That happens because you are completely dependent on the outcome. You need to switch to a mindset of outcome independence. Your goal shouldn't be to get a specific reaction out of her. Your goal should simply be to test your own courage. Every single time you walk up to a girl or speak up in a group conversation or ask a question to a female classmate, you are getting a rep in, just like lifting weights at the gym. You can't expect to bench press 100 kilos on your first day, and you can't expect to be an incredibly smooth conversationalist on your first try. If she's nice and the conversation flows, great, that's a win. If she's cold or if it gets a bit quiet and awkward, great, you survived, the sky didn't fall, your heart is still beating. You just proved to your brain that social rejection isn't fatal. The guy who wins in the long run isn't the guy who never fails. It's the guy who is willing to collect 50 awkward conversations because he knows that on the other side of those 50 mistakes is absolute social freedom. Stop waiting for your insecurity to magically disappear before you start taking action. It doesn't work that way. Confidence isn't something you feel before you do something difficult. It's the reward you get after you've done it. The girls you're terrified of talking to are just people who want to laugh, have a good conversation, and connect with authentic human beings. They are tired of guys playing games behind a phone screen just as much as you're tired of being alone. Put the phone in your pocket, drop the fake persona, step into discomfort, take a deep breath and just say hello. You've got this, brothers. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.